When you say that you are the secret weapon behind all of the high achieving women, what does that mean to you?
I'm the person behind the person running the business. Particularly what I have been seeing for female leaders is that whole typical thing that we hear at the beginning of everyone's stories. On the outside, I had it all together, and on the inside, I was crumbling.
How can you keep up? But I'm like, because momentum and the expansion is not here for
That's
me.
right.
That's when I speak about grounded momentum.
I asked myself was, how can I keep the momentum but be able to feel that internal stillness? How can I maintain that groundedness? It's actually about changing your inner world so that the external momentum doesn't shake you. So you become the unshakable force.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Rebecca Adehill Show. Today I have a very, very special guest with me in the studio today. She is the secret weapon behind high achieving women. We are going to dive deep in today's conversation. And it is my absolute pleasure to welcome Dee Zibara to the show.
I'm so excited to be here.
I am so happy to have you here to be diving into this conversation today. We had a little chat off air before and I was like, how are we going to keep this to an hour? But we will. We will. I feel like my audience is craving the conversation that we are going to be having today. And I feel stepping into a new year, the year of the horse, which I kind of know nothing about.
Fire horse.
Yeah, fire horse, that's right. I always get corrected there. But I feel like there is this really big energy stepping into this year. So I feel like the conversation is really timely for us to be sitting down, just debunking all of the things. So my first question to you, when you say that you are the secret weapon behind all of the high achieving women, what does that mean to you?
What it means to me is I'm the person behind the person running the business. Because particularly what I have been seeing for female leaders is that whole typical thing that we hear at the beginning of everyone's stories. On the outside, I had it all together, and on the inside, I was crumbling. And what I have become very good at doing is helping women stay stable under pressure, because there is so much pressure from so many angles when you are a leader, a coach, a woman in business, from all angles, particularly obviously for women who are also mothers. And so what I'm able to help them do is empty their bucket in ways that I don't see anybody else doing. This is why people are seeking me out, which is so exciting because I'm so passionate about this work, being able to help women unlock their own potential.
Yes.
And be the leaders that they want to be. Because often you'll have women who are highly ambitious, very driven, and they have these huge visions that they can see and they can feel, but their own restraint is themselves. And Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about how we are both energy and matter, particle and wave. My work looks at that holistically. It looks at a woman holistically. I help them with the physical, the emotional, and the energetic. Because if we don't address all of those things, they aren't at their full potential.
Yes.
So really being able to help women behind the scenes in their own personal physical bodies especially, which is where my work has really started and where my absolute expertise is.
Yes.
And showing them how that layers in and ripples into their emotional body and their energetic body. Once we unlock all of that, that's when they walk into a room and you feel their presence before they even speak.
Wow. You said something about you help them almost empty their bucket or maybe we tweak it or we have multiple buckets or what's kind of the internal dialogue? So when they come to you, do they believe that their bucket is so full, there's nothing can't give here? Do they kind of feel like there is no way out? Or when they come to you, what's kind of that internal dialogue and story that they tell themselves?
they are often saying things like, I cannot take on anything else. Like they actually feel maxed out. They'll notice if someone asks them to do something, it's almost like they have this huge like defense mechanism where they're like, I cannot do anything else. Or they get frustrated with people asking them to do things because they are so full themselves of to-dos and responsibilities and pressure. And so even though those are all non-tangible things, the way that I help women with themselves in their own bodies is we start with the physical.
Okay.
And it's an inside-out process of being able to be magnetic, lead from the front, be stable under pressure, make clean, clear decisions, not second-guess yourself.
Yes.
It's very much an inner to outer job. And the way that I explain what I do is I say that I help people from cell to soul.
I feel like this is very much connecting with, if you look at my book over here.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yeah.
It's
I
my
love when
mantra,
you said this. I love that.
And this, you know, what's really interesting about this, and for those that are listening now, I'm pointing at a journal that I have, and on the front it says internal stillness, external speed. And this Dee actually dropped in for me at a meditation a few years ago because I was sort of, you know, I had 3 kids under 3.5 and running a business and scaling and like doing all of the things. And, you know, life was not bad by any means. It was just full from not even the moment I wake up because I felt like I was just up feeding all night.
Yeah.
And like it was just on all the time. And it was never an off button. And I remember just having like 20 minutes to myself. And I just sat down and I just like really tuned in, which was just a rare moment in itself. And I just asked myself or my higher self, I said, what is the fastest road to success? And all I could hear was just internal stillness, external speed. That is the answer. And I think since even having that awareness of like, because we live in a very fast-paced world, and especially having everything so accessible now, I feel like it's very difficult to have the off switch, right? And what I noticed in my life, and I don't know if your clients will resonate or anyone listening right now, that for a long time I felt that the speed of my external world started to reflect how I was feeling on my inside.
Yep.
So it's like kind of like always, like you always feel an edge, right? Is that?
Yes, that's exactly right. So you're always feeling like if one more thing was to be put on your plate, it would be too much. And even when things are good,
yes,
it's like you're bracing for danger.
Yeah.
Like you're worried that something's going to go wrong. Like you're having to be hyper vigilant around things, or that feeling of fear, however it shows up. Like maybe people think, oh, you're a control freak, or you're being pedantic, or, you know, relax, calm down, everything's okay, everything's good. And this actually reminds me of something I saw a really long time ago as a quote. It's not even a quote, it was actually just a comment, and it was, I've never seen a relaxed woman. And I thought, that is a reality for so many women. We actually don't have many role models who are relaxed, who are grounded, who have internal stillness. And one misconception for a lot of women who understand this whole balance of this masculine doing and speed and action and execution and feminine trust, surrender, even internal stillness, they assume that means that they have to stop or slow down.
Yes.
What I asked myself was, how can I keep the momentum but be able to feel that internal stillness? How can I maintain that groundedness? And my passion and my expertise was, well, if you're a female and you're a female founder or a female leader or a female coach, the one thing that separates you from a man in this men's world is your hormones.
Oh,
it's your hormones.
Yes, of course.
And so for a lot of women, their body is suffering as a result of living like a man in a man's world.
Wow. Can we just debunk that? Because you're saying, you know, I've heard you say this before, and you said something like, women, we are not small men.
Yeah.
So we need to stop pretending like we can run this world like a man.
Yeah.
Can we just go deeper? What do you actually mean by that? And how can we actually now, once we have that awareness, what can we actually do differently so that we can embrace and I'm not even going to say accept, because it sounds like that is like less than, but like embrace the fact that we're women, and how can we almost like leverage the fact that we're women.
I'm glad you said leverage, because our hormones is literally an abundance code. That is our superpower. It's just such a shame that everyone thinks it's like a nuisance or it's a pain in the butt, like, oh, I got my period. Like, it's a bad thing. It's amazing when you understand it. And the ways that they can do that, there's kind of 3 frameworks that I have that would explain this really well. They need to be able to trust, so intuition. So trust themselves, trust their higher power, trust that connection, trust that they're being led and guided. Insight. So understand and be aware of their own emotional landscape. Because as women, leading with emotion, showing why we do what we do, and actually caring about people, that is how you build multi-million dollar businesses.
Yeah.
Like that's the key. Simon Sinek was talking about this on a podcast that I've been listening to recently around like the why. Start with why.
Yes.
That for us as women, that's how we connect with each other. This is literally marketing, but this is just who we are.
Yes.
You know, if you can make them feel an emotion and connect with them as a human, doesn't matter what you're selling, they will buy it.
For sure.
Because that's what it's your offer, your product, your service is imprinted with that energy infused into it.
Yeah.
And the third thing is finding balance as a woman. And like I said, we've got this blueprint that we can leverage, that we can lean into. So being able to have inner balance within ourselves, knowing that sometimes we're optimized for sales calls and masterclasses. And at other times, we're actually optimized to do an annual review or a monthly review, or look at the analytics, or forecast data for the next year. Like those kinds of things, if we knew and we understood that, and we also knew on a day-to-day basis how it impacted our hormones and how we show up on a day-to-day basis, I genuinely think the world would be a better place.
You know, I agree, and I'm sort of obviously thinking about how I show up in my business. And I know that naturally I'm very much in my masculine. For me, it's like whether I'm due for my period or not, or whether I'm here and I'm solid. But what I feel is like I don't let maybe, and I want to hear your honest perspective on this, but this is how I personally operate, not saying it's right or wrong. I show up consistently in my business regardless of what time of the month it is, or perhaps regardless even what's going on in my life. Because I don't want my business to have so many like dependents to the point where like I feel like I can't take action, that it's almost like suffocating me to be like, oh no, I am due for my period, so I can't sit down and do this podcast, or like I can't do this and I can't do that. So, but what I find though, it's like having a deeper understanding has helped me, so I can more like honor my energy, even like around that time, or even like when my energy is feeling low, what am I doing about that, so that I can almost like create a support system around me versus like creating maybe unnecessary rules.
Yes.
That's how I see
I saw
it.
rules in my mind, yeah.
Yeah, right? That I'm like, is that bad that I'm just almost like soldiering on?
When it becomes a problem, then it's bad.
Okay, yeah, okay.
It's not a problem until it is a problem. And here is the thing. For people like you, your next chapter, your next evolution, your next leverage is creating more capacity within you. If you can take it to that next stage, given all of the pressure and the responsibility and everything coming from each angle, what I'm here to do is maximize the efficiency, so you have even more spaciousness.
Ooh, damn! Yes! Hallelujah! Give me more of that, girl. Yeah. Wow, yes.
And it's not about rules, because if you're an entrepreneur and you're a highly ambitious woman, you are an inner rebel. You don't want to be restricted. The world is your oyster. You want to expand. That is what I do. Expand capacity. Empty the buckets. Expand capacity.
I love this so much because I see, like, I feel like especially the last couple of years, like the biggest like buzzword was like soft girl era. And everyone's just like, just in my soft girl era. I'm just like off to matcha, like with the girls, hot girl Pilates, but then they come back to their businesses or their work and they're just like, fuck, I just took like 2 hours out and now they're even more stressed. And I was like, that's not soft girl era.
I agree.
Right?
I agree.
Where I'm like, we need to get to the core. Like if you look from a business sense, my understanding here and the way I would do it, we're speaking like the same language but in different worlds, right?
Yeah.
It's like a true definition of a soft girl era is to go to matcha with the girls or sit and do this interview and still be paid in my business and have a system that is holding me, have a team that is holding me, having a house manager at my house doing like that for me is increasing my capacity to do more of what's going to accelerate my growth.
Exactly, because you have found that balance.
Yes.
And this is what women are missing. And I agree because, again, the person that I'm speaking to, like us, tends to their masculine. But what is beautiful about that is when you get the right balance of healthy masculine, that's when you have support to lean into, structures and systems, a rock in your business, the same way you have a rock in your relationship.
Yes.
It's the same. It's literally the same.
Yes.
But you can't have energy that flows. It becomes chaotic when it's not grounded in structure and systems. That's why you can sit here, make bank, and still have the ability to be able to have creative flow and trust and just let the process unfold as it should.
Yes, and even the creativity I found really comes from spaciousness and having the capacity. It's like, there is no coincidence.
Which is the feminine energy.
All of the great ideas comes when I sit in the sauna or when I have a long shower or when I have a bath or when I go for a walk without distractions. It's like, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's just spaciousness, right?
Yeah. Literally a CEO came to me a month ago. We're about to start working together. And even though she was breastfeeding and I'm still breastfeeding my son, so she was like, I love that you're like still building an empire and you're a breastfeeding mom. Like, you get me. Yes. This other person she was going to work with was like a guy who just didn't get it. He just didn't understand how you can have sleepless nights and still function because you must show up.
Yes.
And she said to me that even though she had hormonal imbalance and there was a few things going on that I wanted to clean up for her, one of the biggest things that she said to me that made me realize she didn't have the balance that she wanted and was leaning too much into toxic masculinity was she said, I get paid for my creativity. She's like, my ideas, that is pure feminine energy.
Ooh.
Creativity is pure feminine energy.
And she was heavily in her masculine?
Just too heavily in her masculine. She had too much going on. She has too much capacity.
So tell me, yes, okay, I'm really interested to debunk this. Would you say, like, what are the early signs of, like, a woman just being, like, even around, you were saying, like, around the toxic, like, masculine sort of energy or, like, too much in their masculine and, like, maybe they are starting to, like, borderline touching, like, on burnout. Are there more signs than physical? Like, or are they, like, what are some of the signs that, like, if you're feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm in a season of just like pushing hard, but maybe that season is like, has gone on for a little bit too long and they are starting to feel it. What are some of the signs that we should be looking out for?
It's like you said, they always feel on. So even when they should be resting or could be resting or they're not actually doing their work, they have the feeling that there is pressure around. They have the feeling of urgency in their body.
Ooh.
They might snap at their kids. They might be rude on the phone or they might have road rage. It's those small little signs. Being numb emotionally is a huge one. So let me just explain this for an example. When you get stuck in the middle of the continuum of emotional capacity, you can't access the painful emotions because you suppress them so much that if you go back there, it's like a Pandora's box that you might not know what to do with. Yes. On the other side of that continuum is gratitude and joy and feeling your best and really like feeling unconditional love. And so when you're noticing that you either avoid your trauma like the plague, or avoid your bad emotions like the plague, bad emotions, negative emotions, or low vibe emotions. And at the same time, you find it hard to actually feel in your body, feel gratitude, feel love, and feel joy. That says to me that you are stuck. You are stuck in the middle. So when you feel like, oh, I know I should be grateful for this thing, but I'm just kind of going through the motions and life is so fast and I can't stop for a moment and then think about something I'm grateful for and actually feel gratitude. Like, I've had this in the past. I remember sitting down and someone was like, write down what you're grateful for in your journal. And I was like, I wrote some things down and I thought, I know I consciously am grateful for those things, but I can't feel that. I can't access that emotion.
Wow.
And like I was saying before, as women, when we are heart-led, that comes from our ability to deeply feel our emotions. That is a positive thing. It shows that we care. It shows that we embrace all of who we are. It shows that we know that we're not perfect and we still show up anyway.
So what are we afraid of?
There's core wounds that we're all afraid of. And 99% of the time in my coaching, it comes down to a fear of not being loved.
A fear of not being loved. Yeah.
And so rejection can be a fear of not being loved.
Yeah.
You know, judgment can be a fear of not being loved. And so this really comes back to people's trauma. The trauma that they look at and maybe they have worked through, and I guarantee you every single woman listening to this who is a highly ambitious woman, who is a leader in some way, has done some level of trauma work. But this is that same deep core wounds at the next level.
Yeah, and I think it's also, you know, if I can, and, you know, we can sort of define even like trauma here, that like trauma doesn't have to be, you know, some severely, like really, really, really bad thing in your life, because like trauma is going to look different for everyone. And like, and I'm saying this, like I'm no trauma coach. So like I don't even feel like I'm qualified enough to speak on this, but I can speak from my own experience. And I would say, you know, losing my brother-in-law a year and a half ago, that is like pretty big trauma in my life. It's trauma for my husband, for everybody in my life that knew him. It's trauma on my children. And I think, you know, that was something that I had not navigated ever in my life. It was very unfamiliar for me. And, you know, a lot of people have asked me, like, how the fuck could you still show up in your business when you were navigating that behind the scenes? And, you know, now 18 months later, I'm sitting in, you know, constant like contemplation and reflection of how I navigated that. And it was far from perfect. I want to say that. It was really ugly at times, but I allowed myself to feel every single day. And I think that looking back at that journey now, I was never afraid to sit in the dark. I was never afraid to let myself just go because I also accepted a level of duality in my life where I'm like, when there is darkness, that can also coexist with light. And I had this beautiful client of mine. Her name is Marie. If you're listening to this, I love you. I was sort of in the depths of, you know, just feeling the pain and, you know, still coaching my clients. And I said to them, please let me hold you. Like, please let me, because they were very mindful. They're just like, I don't want to put too much on you, but I'm like, this is what's keeping me sane right now. Just please, we just need to continue as normal. Like, I've got you. And she just made that beautiful reflection. She was like, I have not seen so much depth and darkness coexist with so much light. And I think I just sort of saw myself through a different lens. And it was almost like a permission slip of like, it doesn't have to be this or that.
That's right.
But I think looking at that journey was like, I didn't numb myself from feeling. I allowed myself of feeling all of the things.
100%. And that ability to hold discomfort with like elation and joy and seeing your clients transform and change, that is the makings of a great leader. That duality is the makings of a great leader.
Yes.
And if you feel as though you're not leading the way that you want to, you're not leading your team, you're not leading your clients, you're not leading your family the way that you want to, it's about expanding that emotional capacity back out. It's going into the shadow work and allowing yourself to go back and oscillate into the pure joy. It's both of those things. It's the darkness and the light. It must be both. That's who we are as humans.
Yes.
We experience like such a wide range of emotions, and to cut yourself off from an emotion because you're afraid to feel that emotion ripples out in so many kind of negative ways in your life and in your business that you don't realize. And so in my programs, I allow people to feel. I allow women to unblock themselves internally by allowing them to feel the emotions that they weren't safe enough to feel at the time when the experience happened.
Yes. Yeah. And how for the women, like to all of my incredible masculine women, like listening to this, to be like, I feel like there is like, I need to make an effort to be in my feminine.
Yeah.
And I remember this very clearly, like even with myself. And I was like, this was, you know, was like, I was in the trenches with the kids. And I was like, you know, I did the mum chop, you know, like I chopped my hair off. And then I'm like, I started to like, you know, I was always, then, you know, my style is like, I love a good like button up shirt, like now just wearing like, you know, costumes like that. I do love that. But I noticed that even like my dress sense was even more masculine. My haircut became more masculine, the way I was dressing, and like I was just like at capacity. And then I had a male coach at the time, and he asked me, he was like, Rebecca, I'm just going to ask you a question. Like, when was the last time you wore a skirt? I was like, sorry, what?
Oh my gosh, who is this guy?
Yeah.
I want to know because that's such an important question for so many reasons.
And I was like, couldn't tell you. And he was like, when was the last time you wore a dress? I was like, couldn't tell you. He was like, after this call, I want you to go and put on a skirt and just like wear a skirt around the house. So I put on this like flowy skirt with fucking flowers on. And I was like, oh my God.
What am I doing?
And I was cringing at myself because I'm like, oh, it's a pattern, it's flowers and it's skirt. Oh, and whatever like was coming up for me then. But I realized how much in my masculine I was.
Yeah.
And I was like, how the fuck do I get out of this? And what I had to learn, and I want to get this take on you, but I started to have really clear transitions, like coming home from work. Because like if Brody, my husband, like would feel that I would be like heavily in my masculine, like I'll come home and I'd be like, da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. He was like, out the door, let's start over, like let's repeat. So now like I had to do like a physical cue for me. So like I would sit in the car and I would just have like 5 minutes in the driveway, but I would always like take my earrings out and, you know, I'll take like my my ring off and I'll just like, I always make sure that I get changed. That was like my first cue.
It's
or
a
like,
state change. I love that.
Is that a thing? But I'm
100%.
like, it just settled me. But I also had to communicate with the man, given like I'm married to a man, a very masculine man. But I was like almost fighting that, right? I was coming home and I was like, no, this is not my time to be a leader. So like I even struggled to communicate with him what I needed from him. But then when I learned that, I would even walk in and I'll walk at home, I'll enter the door and I just said, I just want to be a little one. And I would put my arms like this and I said, just give me a hug. And he would hug me and he would just like give me a little kiss on my forehead. And every single time he would say, go and wash the makeup off and I'll make you a cup of tea.
Totally.
Oh, like every woman will be like, fuck, I need that.
I know.
And it's so small, but my husband did not know that was so important to me. And now when he knows that, like, it's like I want to be treated like I'm a boss, but also a little girl.
100%. And that's you wanting those two seasons. You need the masculine and the feminine.
Yes.
If you don't have that balance, you would have burnt out. If Brody didn't do that for you, if you didn't voice your needs, also a feminine trait, if you didn't voice your needs and share how you were feeling, he wouldn't have been able to match you with his masculine.
Yeah, so tell me more about that. What do we need to do for the women listening heavily in their masculine? How do we trust? I'm going to say trust because I feel like it's a trust piece.
It is a trust piece.
To just trust ourselves and other people because what I'm hearing is like, no one can hold me. And they're the ones holding everybody around them.
That's right.
how do we just like, if we just like, I'm a bit curious, like maybe there are some people like, I'm going to feel a bit triggered listening to this.
Maybe.
But what could just be a starting point for us?
Wear a floral skirt at home.
I don't know how you feel about this, girls, but yeah.
It is finding stillness and space, especially when you feel busy and maxed out, and asking yourself, what is urgent, what is important, and what do I need right now? Particularly asking around support and allowing support. We sometimes are like, I know I need this, but then we don't let anyone help us. And then we're like, why is no one helping me? I have to do it all on my own. And it's just that repeated pattern of like, I have to do it myself. I have to do it myself. I can't rely on anybody else. And that comes from a suppressed emotion of wondering and fearing what's going to happen if you're not in control. And control is actually a trauma response. Hyper control is a trauma response. Because, and I think of you in those moments, had you not had that beautiful softening into Brody that you could have, and mind you, I am also someone who tends to their masculine. Yeah. I'm just hyper aware of it.
Yes.
So I consciously create balance in my life, and I always start with my physical self. It's the easiest thing to do. Change how I eat, change how I exercise, know where I'm at in my cycle. Simple, because then I have that balance within me. So then I can reflect it. Okay, go.
It's not simple because I'm like, what do you mean? What do I need to eat? How do I need to train?
Yeah.
So, yes.
But let me finish that.
Okay, yes,
Let me
go.
finish that because I, when you were, wearing all those masculine clothes and probably showing up wanting to control everything, it was because somewhere along the line, and obviously with the obvious thing, recent events that had happened, you had also learnt that when you were not in control, it was dangerous.
Yeah.
And so exactly the fact that you said you want to be a little girl, like you want to be the little one.
Yes.
That is taking you back to a place in your early life where you got stuck emotionally because no one could hold you.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I feel like everybody has that. And, gosh, I know that moment.
I feel like I knew you
right?
would. Mm-hmm.
And it's like I have so much gratitude for that version of myself, like back then. That was just like protecting. And, that was the moment like my parents separated and like, my brother dealing depression and like all the things and like what I had to hold as a 12-year-old girl that was like, just got in my period for the first time and like learning what it's like to be a woman and then having parents separating and like, what that looks like to hold the greatest people in your life in their pain sort of thing, feeling like, oh my God, my entire world, which is my mom, dad and my brother are falling apart. Yeah. And, that was the greatest thing and we all have a beautiful relationship today. But I'm like, that is the moment, right? And I asked a couple of my clients who are, and, this is the pattern with all of my clients, including yourself, high achievers. Like, and we can't make ourselves wrong for being that. Yeah. It's like we can't make ourselves wrong for being so heavily in our masculine. I think it's a beautiful thing, right? Because it's gotten us to where we are today.
Correct.
But I asked a couple of my clients and I'm like, both of them had the same answer. And they always felt guilty when they were resting and they felt worthy and good when they were achieving and accomplishing. So I asked them, I said, how did you receive love from your parents and in particular your father growing up?
Yeah. I asked this same question.
And both of them said, my dad was a businessman, or they would say that, I always got praised when I like did well or achieved something. Yeah. And I was like, and who are you the first one to call when you've done something? And they're like, oh my gosh. I call my dad, or I want to tell my dad, or I want my dad's approval because that is how they believe they're worthy of love.
And I to further this point, I have a theory, and I also believe it serves us, so don't get me wrong, but I have a theory that every woman in business who is just like a fucking boss, can I swear?
Please not. Please.
Every woman who is a fucking boss has that want to prove to the masculine in their lives. And sometimes that's their mother who was masculine.
Oh, right.
Who had the masculine energy. Sometimes they had a softer, more emotional father and they had a more masculine mother.
But like the masculine figure in their life.
The masculine figure, the masculine energy. And I have that. I'm 100% aware that I have that. What self-awareness creates, self-identity, self-understanding, like going inward, understanding yourself, having the insight, trusting intuition and all the guided steps is just because I know that doesn't mean I need to change it.
Yes.
I would not be anywhere else than in business for myself.
Yes.
I'm not built like that.
You know? I can agree. You're not. Yeah.
So I can still have that awareness and hold that and still use it to my advantage, leverage it and be aware of where it actually stops me. So if I'm purely doing something to prove something to my dad, who was a businessman.
Oh, really? Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay.
And I also had polycystic ovarian syndrome, which is a high masculine hormone syndrome. And a lot of women will be like, oh my God, that's me too. And we can talk about that if you want to. But when I oscillate into that and I do things because I'm like, I want to tell dad how much money I made. I want to show him how big I've grown my business. That's when I have to go back to my why and my mission of why I started in the first place. And that is helping people solve their problems and unlocking their inner potential. And the way that I do that is the tools that I have is I'm just really fucking good at helping women with their health.
Yes.
I'm just really fucking good at it.
Yes.
Because I had to do it for myself.
So, okay, this is so good. Okay, I want to circle back to the women that are afraid to lean more into the feminine. You said something around like being open, asking, like what are like 3 things that we can do immediately to allowing to be more in our feminine?
Have self-awareness around what you need. So identify your needs. Cry or punch a pillow. Like move some emotion. Get it out.
Yes.
And nourish yourself. That's really important because if you're bypassing how you feel all the time and you're just doing for the consistency of doing so you can be there for other people, but you forget about yourself in the process, then you are in your hypermasculine. So to stop, to rest, to think about what you need and ask for support and help, and then to go and nourish yourself. Go and eat something that is a really like healthy, wholesome meal. Go to the beach and go and ground yourself. Whatever it is, it doesn't have to be that you stop. I'm just not about this soft girl CEO life. I'm just not.
Yes.
You don't have to stop the momentum.
Yes.
It's actually about changing your inner world so that the external momentum doesn't shake you. So you become the unshakable force. You are the eye of the storm.
Okay. And it can be like what I'm kind of hearing here, it doesn't have to be like we don't have to flip our whole lives upside down. It's kind of just like
it can all stay the same, actually. It can all stay exactly the same.
Yeah, right.
It's actually you doing the work. You will see the ripple effects of the decisions that you make, the new boundaries that you have, the ways that you operate so that everything gets done. It just gets done at different times where there's less friction. Yes. It's literally an efficiency system.
And we love a good system. We love a good system. What I'm really curious about is how stress and how the constant feeling of being on and like a never-ending to-do list, can that also impact our hormones?
Absolutely.
And how?
So when you experience a stressful thought, you create stress hormones.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, shit. No, think about the thing. No.
You heard about cortisol, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So isn't it like so cool that we can be sitting here and we have 2 scenarios. We're sitting here, we're totally safe. We have very low.
Oh my God, I know where you're going. Yeah.
We've got really low cortisol.
Yeah.
Cortisol is one of them. It's the main one. It's the like long-term one that we have. Adrenaline could also be one as well. This is what a lot of women are living on, adrenaline as well, where it's like, go to. Or we could be sitting here and there could be like a burglar, like rummaging around downstairs. And so nothing has changed for us. The thought of knowing there's someone downstairs is like, and all of a sudden all of our cortisol goes up.
Yes.
And so because cortisol is a hormone, it influences all the other hormones. It's like an orchestra. So one thing's off, and then everything as a result there's so many hormones that get changed and tweaked as a result of that. You know, the number one hormone that gets affected by cortisol? Progesterone. And progesterone is so important for us as women. If there was one hormone that we need more than we know, it's progesterone. It's our calming hormone. It's the hormone that allows us to ovulate. So it keeps the balance, it keeps the flow, it keeps the rhythm. And the way that I explain this to people so they have a really good analogy of this playing out in the body is, let's say you go to a chef and you say, "Chef, here's the ingredients for 12 cupcakes. I need 12 cupcakes right now." And then something frantic happens outside and someone's demanding, "No, I need a cake. I need a cake." You're like, "Well, crap, I only have like these ingredients." These ingredients being all the micronutrients, all the macronutrients, everything your body uses to make hormones. So someone's come in and there's this chaos and like, okay, and I go back and I'm like, "Chef, sorry, we can't make those cupcakes. We actually need to make a cake. We have a cake, it's really urgent." That's what happens in your body. The cupcakes are your progesterone. The cake is the cortisol. So when your body needs to make cortisol, it actually steals all of the ingredients that your body was about to use to make progesterone, which keeps us like youthful, juicy, calm, grounded, all those second half luteal phase, PMS, like all of that. That is all directly influenced with progesterone.
Wow, yeah.
So if we need to make stress hormones, we won't be making much progesterone unless we give more ingredients or we reduce the need to make stress hormones. And so those two things is how I help clients. We boost them, but we also clear them. We remove the stuff that's not them. We remove the stuff that's not needed. We remove the emotional stuckness, the blocks.
That holds a lot of stress.
That holds a lot of stress. We remove physical things that are stressing the body, like toxins, heavy metals, candida, mold, parasites. Those things stress the body before you even wake up in the morning. A lot of women are waking up in the morning. I don't know how they've built the businesses that they have, and they are experiencing like tiredness, hair loss, breakouts, heavy periods, or a period that never comes, or a period that never stops. And they are struggling within their own body before they even wake up.
And do you almost feel like they may even start to think that it's just like normal, it's just like who they are, and then they don't even do anything about it? Yeah.
And I think that because the male world tells us, put your feelings aside, don't recognize, like, just fucking do it.
Yes.
That has a place until it's a problem. If you're sacrificing your own energy, how are you going to be a powerful leader? Like, you can only do that for so long. There are seasons where sometimes you do just have to show up.
Yeah.
You can let your family fall apart. You know, Brody had just lost his brother. Like, you couldn't let that happen.
Yeah, for sure.
So you had to be on. You had to be strong.
But that showed up for me physically as well.
Tell me.
You know, there's like multiple things. It's like I can't go to sleep at night. You know, it's like I get the shivers and I shake. I have this thing, like, and this is like probably too much information, but it's like
we love to
I get shingles.
Really?
I literally I've had it 3 times, and it's only really little on my back, and every single time I get like burnt out, or my life is just like under threat, or I'm under threat.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Yep.
And I feel this little itch on my back. And then I kind of I'm on top of it, but then it goes away. And every single time it's when I'm experiencing high stress in my life.
Yes. Because if the bucket is full, and I'll tell you, it's full for most people in the world.
Yeah.
But when the bucket is full and your ambition is up here, only takes a small amount of extra stress on top of everything else that you hold normally. For that bucket to be like, oh, I'm at max capacity. It's almost like that. It's like a little like tap on the shoulder.
It is a tap on the shoulder.
Hey, slow down. This
100.
can't go on too long.
Yeah. And then it's like, and I know maybe like a lot of women, they would like put on weight, but I'll lose weight. Like it just like kind of falls off me. I can't. And like I would make sure that I eat extra, but I'm like, I'll lose my appetite. Like there will be a lot of things like that. And I'm like, since I have the awareness, I don't let it happen.
Yeah.
And I think it's like another thing that I've even done in my business And like, you know, we said before, like Brody's been away for a month. So it's like I am holding extra this month. But again, like you said, it's just like a season. It's like next week, my whole week is spaciousness.
Yeah, that's right.
For the entire week. And I'm like, and I cater in for that. It's like I have my 2 on days where I work and then I'm like, I have spaciousness. That's and right. Then like that is how you sustain it.
Exactly. It's sustainability. This is the sustainability of success.
Yes.
You do it brilliantly with business. Brilliantly.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what women need to understand, is that the same way you do that with business, you can do that with yourself.
Yes.
Because your business is an extension of you.
Yes. And also I feel that people are like, you have so much momentum, and I can see the momentum with you as well. This is like, you know, clients and this, and people are speaking about like all the great women that you are working with, like you have so much momentum, like we both do. And people are like, how can you like keep up? But I'm like, because momentum and the expansion is not like here for me. Right. You know, that's when I speak about grounded momentum. It's like I can sustain this until the day I'm no longer here because my body's not under constant stress.
That's right.
Do I have stressful moments? Do I have times that are challenging me? 100%. But I don't feel like I couldn't sustain what I've built.
And the interesting thing is that like most leaders don't feel like they could sustain it.
Yes.
Most of the time they're coming to me and they're like, I cannot keep doing this.
Yeah.
Like something has to give. And sometimes when they're at a point where their business is spacious enough, but their body is still fighting against them. Imagine if you had both of those things.
Yes.
Like
you would just be like, I feel like I should be sending, I feel like everybody listening to this, you should go and hire Dee before you come to me and scale your business. It's like, you know, we start, like you said, we start with the person, right? Yeah. And I often say if we don't start with the person behind the business before, like I can give anyone $1 million strategy, but if the person driving the strategy forward, if they don't have the capacity, even the mental resilience, the discipline, the awareness, the depth, like everything that comes with scaling a company, they're not going to survive.
Agreed. And that's so beautiful that you in your position can see that of a founder.
Yes. And I think it's pivotal. It's like a non-negotiable. It's like, sure, like keep chasing the money, but it's not going to last you. And I say this all the time, like I want to help founders build sustainable success. And this is why I love us having this conversation, because I know that your work is so pivotal, and we seem to some have gotten that wrong. So we put that last on the list where I'm like, no. We need to make sure that you can hold, because when you are scaling, you know, you are somewhat like you're scaling your problems, you're scaling your team, you're scaling your impact, your visibility, and every fucking trigger and shadow. And like, that's all going to come to the forefront, you know, because you are being more visible, you are being more impactful, you are more responsible, you are making more money, and that with that comes more pressure. And like the list goes on. If you're already full, and I give you a strategy that is going to like 10x what you are currently doing, and we are wondering why we have resistance in executing a plan, it's your emotional capacity. It's literally like your subconscious saying, I cannot hold this, so let me self-sabotage.
That's right.
And call it, you know, I got caught up doing this.
Yeah.
It's like I can see the self-sabotage pattern.
And sometimes that's physical, and sometimes that is... Like, let's say, for example, if you have a parasite in you or you have a bad bacteria in you, that actually interrupts how your brain functions.
Wow.
Like, I'm not even going to get into this conversation, actually. It's so controversial. But let's just say that it interrupts your brain capacity. So if you can't even think, if you can't even concentrate, if you don't even have the energy to sit at a computer, the mental capacity to do the things that you need to do, or go to that networking event because you feel terrible about yourself, like all of those like physical small manifestations, do you know what they chip away at over time? Belief.
Yeah.
And what must you have in a founder?
Yeah. Well,
belief.
100%.
You have to have 100% belief.
Yeah.
And that self-sabotage often is actually their subconscious mind and their body being like, lady, you aren't going to be able to sustain this at the next level. And so this is where I'm really working with people at the evolution of that next level. And smart women will do this in advance before it becomes a problem.
100%. Yes.
So instead of waiting, I'm so burnt out, I can't do this. No. Women now are saying, you know what? Life is good. Like you said before, life is good, but I will be damned if this next chapter, it feels hard.
Yes.
Feels so hard that I'm sacrificing myself because that's not why we're building businesses. Women these days are not building businesses to be, to hold a briefcase and to go on Wall Street. Like that's not our dream. Our dream is presence at home and being able to be a leader at work, in our work, whatever that might look like.
Yeah, whatever that looks like.
That's what we want.
Yeah.
We want both. And we get to have both. There needs to be a different strategy. There needs to be a different movement that women are following that's not like hustle mentality and ruthless and nonstop, but is also not soft girl CEO. There needs to be something in between where you feel like a powerhouse all the time because you know yourself so well. And this is something about entrepreneurs particularly is that one thing that they get really well, and I guess anyone in like a leadership position, they know how to lean into their strengths.
That's huge.
And they know what they're not great at, but they lean into their strengths. And this is what I'm trying to say for women is that the fact that you're a cyclical woman, you have different strengths at different times. It doesn't mean don't only do one thing at one time. It means prioritize this at this time if you want less friction, if you want it to feel easier, if you want to experience more flow. That's available to you. And spaciousness is actually my year of 2026. It's like, how can I create that in all areas of my life? I've nailed it in my health. The amount of things that I can hold and navigate. Like people don't know what goes on behind the scenes in my life. And last year, if people knew exactly what I was navigating and holding and all the ups and downs and people saw the adventures and the fun, but like what that actually looked like and felt like running 3 businesses, having my 2 kids, going on a plane once a week, like to a different place. It was fun. It was also a lot to hold and a lot to maintain.
Yeah.
And most people wouldn't have been able to do that for the full year that we did it.
Of course. Yeah, too much.
Because it's hard.
Because they
and
don't have the
homeschooling
tools
as well. That's right. Because they don't have the capacity. And so it's all about creating more physical capacity, more emotional capacity, more energetic capacity so that they have that 100% belief and 100% execution. They're so clear on their vision. Their yes is a yes and their no is a no because they have such good filter. Yeah. They're not clogged and blocked and numb. They are so in tune with their mission and they are so feeling so guided and supported.
Oh, Dee, you're speaking my language. And I genuinely feel, I think just like another thing is like realizing that you are not behind. It's like when you are so locked into your unique vision. That's true. I had a conversation with someone the other day and, she's a friend of mine and, she sees how I'm investing in property and doing all of the things. And, she's like, I feel really stressed. And I was like, you don't have to be stressed. You're exactly where you're meant to be and you are now playing the long game because you know what you want to do. I said, don't get caught up in my decision making. I said, you have a grand plan that you are like, it's currently not like feeding her immediately in terms of like this is the outcome. But I know like if she stays patient, continuing on with the plan, she's going to like, the plan that she has in place is like, that's going to be 10x, right? It's incredible, but she needs to trust her own process and what that vision looks like for her and her family. And she was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for saying that. It's like, you're not behind.
That's right. And you can't have patience without trust.
Yes, for sure.
How could you?
Yeah.
How could you wait if you had that sense of urgency because you weren't sure if the thing was going to happen or not? That's when you get into fight or flight. If you had full trust and full belief in yourself and in your plan and in your divine mission, you would have patience because you're playing the long game. Yes. Because you also know that no matter what obstacles come up, that you've got your own back and you'll make it happen.
Yes.
Trust is so pivotal.
Trust is so pivotal, and that actually I feel like we're going to finish on a high. And I'm curious about this. You speak about fertile frequency. I am wondering whether women are looking to fall pregnant or they just want to like be in that frequency. Like I'm wondering if that's even a thing without like actually wanting to have a baby. Yep. Because I'm like, how can I apply the fertile frequency without having a baby but use the magnetism in my business?
Exactly.
Oh, okay. Exactly. So this is the thing. We haven't spoken about this. But I'm like, I get the concept, but I'm like, can we debunk that?
Yes.
Because I feel like a lot of listeners right now, they even may want another baby or want a baby, but maybe some people just want to use the like magnetism of that to apply to a different area of their lives. Can we unpack that?
Of course we can.
Yes.
For the last 2 years, I've niched in a place where I've really felt a big sense of duty. So for, 6 years now, I've had people in my inbox asking me for help around fertility. Stress of, world events and all things. I don't even want to say the word because I'm so like over it.
Yes,
but
yes.
The ramifications of what that's done to hormones and hormonal balance has meant so many people at this stage of life who are older, who want more financial freedom before they start a family, have come to me and asked me for help, but specifically after exhausting all medical options.
Oh.
And so what I really began to do was what I was doing anyway, but more specifically around fertility, was helping not only a man, not only a woman, but also a man to become as fertile as they possibly could. And so the way that I saw it was helping them tap into their fertile frequency. Because like I said, it's a cell-to-soul approach. It's not just the physical. It's not just the mindset. It's not just the emotional.
It's very holistic.
It's very holistic.
Got it.
Again, back to what Dr. Joe Dispenza says about us being like both energy and matter. Because we are 99.99% space, but that doesn't mean that we bypass, we are humans. We are female humans.
Yes.
And we can't bypass that.
Totally.
It's like, that is just how we run. And so because I was able to help people at that really late stage where they just dropped off the medical system and IVF clinics were like, sorry, there's nothing we can do to help you. I very quickly realized from all of my female clients over the last 2 years, they all said to me, because they were all very like driven, ambitious, like leaders in their life, entrepreneurs, coaches themselves, mentors. They all said to me, Dee, where was this all my life? Where was this program all my life? And the fertility frequency is something that you can apply to business, because I believe the two biggest stress tests in life is when you're about to build a family and when you're building a business. It's actually the same.
And sometimes doing it at the same time.
That's right. And often people are.
Yes.
Often they're doing it at the same time. So that fertility frequency is something that all women should be striving towards at all times.
So what is that? Like what is, I feel like I got my idea of, like, tell me, like, how would you describe that? And how does it feel?
So practically you are actually ovulating every month consistently with predictable rhythm. And there's a whole like way that happens, because even that in of itself, some women don't even know when they ovulate. They don't even know, they don't even know the signs around it. And they're not ovulating every month. They're just assuming that they are because they have a bleed. This is like a whole nother, this is all the health stuff that I've done over all the years. But the point is that we need to be, first and foremost, actually ovulating every month. And then the fertile frequency is we are most fertile when we are in balance all month long. And in the first half of the month, or the first half of our cycle, that balance is having enough estrogen. In the second half, that balance is having enough progesterone. So being able to manipulate those hormones physically is so important. The fertile frequency also is about having limited, and I guess not limited fears around like the next step, but like really like facing those and confronting those ahead of time before it becomes a problem. So anticipating, okay, there's some resistance that I'm starting to feel around this. I'm starting to not execute. I'm starting to not follow through. I'm starting to self-sabotage or procrastinate. Why am I doing that? That's part of the fertility frequency around the emotional side of things. And again, like based in like our traumas, our patterns, our programs, what we have come to believe and interpret. When we're fertile, we're fucking like magic spills out of our mouth.
100%,
Like, and we've spoken about this before. Like, you can tell when a woman is ovulating.
100%.
Like, you walk past her in the street, you're like, damn.
Yeah. She has some energy about her.
That's right. And there's just something about her that you can't explain, even if she doesn't say anything.
Yes.
So having that fertility frequency, that literal energy spilling out of her aura, this is quantum science now that we're talking about, quantum physics. her aura, the thing that you can feel, that's magnetism, that's radiance, that's the fertile frequency. But you can have that all month long.
I was going to ask, and I'm like, can I only have that for like...
No,
okay.
You can have it all month long. And so what I show women is how to be a powerhouse 24/7. Not just like, I have to wait until I'm ovulating and then I can, once a month. And that could actually also be, nice for like oscillations and like rhythms within your own business for sure. And you can actually plan around that too.
Yes.
If you have a monthly rhythm in your business, in your sales,
For
in
sure,
your launches,
yes.
in your things like that, which I do. But being able to feel like a powerhouse 24/7 is about having clarity and, I was going to say understanding, but as my friend Espen says, inner standing of who you are and why you do what you do. It dictates your decisions and your actions, which then dictates your results. And that all comes from knowing and understanding and understanding yourself as a physical person first.
Yes.
And then all of it gets to ripple out from there. But the easiest way, really, in my mind, is there's such simple tweaks and shifts that we can make within our own day-to-day experience that would just make it easier. Like, I'm a projector in human design. The way that I see things is, how can that system be easier? How can that be easier? How can that process be easier? It's all about efficiency.
Yes.
That's how I'm wired.
Yeah.
That's how I see things. And so it's really upsetting and disappointing to see that someone's mission doesn't get to come to fruition in the world because of their own internal boundaries. Barriers, sorry. Internal barriers.
Yeah.
So like the obstacles that are stopping them are things like, my period pain is so bad, I lose momentum for a week of the month every single month. Like that is happening.
And they're accepting, yeah.
And they're not accepting it. What they're trying to do is trying to look for help, and no one can help them. No one has this deep knowledge and this deep understanding, particularly around high-performing women. There is such a gap. There's so much opportunity that they could have more spaciousness, that they could have more ease and more flow.
Yes.
Because as you have more capacity and not leaving everything on the table and not giving yourself to everyone all the time, not giving your energy to small things or like everything.
It's like, let it go.
And so when you keep that, like, let's just say you keep like 20% of energy for yourself at all times, like that compounds over time.
Yes.
It compounds over time, and that allows you to have the spaciousness within yourself, the balance within yourself, space in your life to be able to reflect on how you're feeling, on how you're navigating, on how your body is feeling. Like, is my body suffering this month? Am I feeling really good? Like, how am I actually physically feeling? How am I emotionally feeling? What's showing up in my universe that's confirming energetically where I'm at right now? So we get all these signals and all this information all the time. And in your fertility frequency, things feel easy. Things feel like flow. You don't feel like you're forcing all the time.
No, yeah, that's huge.
And like it just feels so good.
And it's the best. Oh my gosh, it's the best experience, isn't it? And I think what I'm really getting from this is like in order for us to make change, we need to have a deeper understanding of who we are and like actually learning to listen to all of the signals that are like our body is constantly communicating to us, but also then having the tools, knowing what to do so that we can actually best support ourselves. And it's like, I feel like that's the ultimate, like what you are doing is like, it's the ultimate definition of like self-love and like genuine, like pouring back into yourself, like showing yourself so much love and grace and compassion and respect and versus like fighting against yourself. Yeah.
Respect is actually such a great word because when you understand and you work with your own physiology, your own emotional capacity, when you work with that and this magic that makes you a woman, that's showing yourself true self-respect. And that is so important. That's something that we just bypass ourselves. We just suppress all these things that just make us so sick when we think that they're making us strong. But real strength is vulnerability and realness and rawness and being able to speak authentically and be your true self. But how can you do that if you don't know yourself? How can you do that if you're not acting as though you're trying to support yourself and nourish yourself? It really all starts with us. And I believe everything that I have ever touched in terms of a program, an offer, anything at all, if we think of it from a business perspective, I have been so conscious of the energy that I build it in. Because I know there's an energetic imprint on all of my offers, on all of my workshops, on all of my masterclasses. I know that.
Yeah.
And I think that is so important to be able to infuse into my work. And it's what makes me magnetic.
Yes.
People don't buy the thing because the thing is the best thing ever necessarily. They're buying it because of who I am. They're buying it because of my magnetism. They can see the embodiment in me, just like they can see it in you.
Yeah.
They see that. They feel that.
They feel it,
And so they buy into whatever you're doing because they're like, whatever you got going on here, like I want it.
I want it,
You know? And you have such beautiful, and this is why I'm learning from you, you have such a beautiful ability to create feminine energy within business.
Yes.
I love it.
It's such a big part of like how I choose to lead and why I feel so passionate about it. And I feel like it's just, and it really calls me forward of always holding that standard for myself, like being in true embodiment of that. And I had someone listening to my podcast the other day and she said, I just feel so grounded in your presence. She was like, but yet also so fucking activated and fired up. And I'm like, but that is the powerful part, that those dualities like actually get to coexist. We get to be powerful whilst we are also being very grounded.
Yep.
My last question for you, if you had one message to all of the high achieving women listening to this right now, what is like one message that you want to tell them?
They don't want to hear this necessarily. But you need to put yourself first today.
Today, girls. Yes. Today.
Because the reason that they're avoiding that, they're worried that that's going to take away from their business growth. They're worried that that's going to take away from their impact and their mission and everything that they're working so hard to build. It's literally the key ingredient to maintain all of that growth and for it to feel easy.
I encourage every single person listening to this to go and put yourself first today, even if it's just for an hour, even if it's just for like, but just do something with intention today where you are pouring back into yourself. And please tag, I'm going to put all of these like details in the show notes so you can connect with her, so you can hire her before you step in and like scale and grow. You know, evolution is a part of life. And I feel like we constantly, regardless of what level that you're at, even if you're like at the top, that is still not the top, because it's like it's never ending. And I feel like at every single level we need to increase our capacity. So the work that you are doing is so relevant at every single level, because what I could hold 5 years ago, I can hold a lot more today, but what I can hold in 5 years is probably going to be way more than what I can actually hold now. So it's that constant evolution. But you are such a gift to this world and to the important work that you are doing. You are also such an incredible light to guide. I just really admire your optimism, your openness, your willingness, your drive, your smile, your generosity. Like, you are just such a gift. And thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you so much. My heart is so full right now. I have loved this conversation so much. And I know that we're all friends, but I love being guided by you so much. I love what you bring out in me and how much clearer and even more drive I now have in my mission with this work.
I can see that. I love that so much. Thank you all for tuning in for another episode. As I mentioned, I'm going to put all of these details in the show notes. So please make sure you go and give her a follow, write her a message, tell her about your journey, and see whether she can help you scale your capacity further so that you can thrive. Yes! High five! We nailed that.
Oh, yes.